Hi everyone, this is Shireen Purewal. I hope you're all doing good. It's a Monday here in January 2021. And as usual, I always welcome questions from you guys, and I got a good question this time. So the question is, Shireen, what should I do to dispute my property taxes? Because right now, as you know, property taxes are out. Values of home are out. And I have people reaching out to me, asking me, what's the value of my home? Should I be disputing my taxes? My taxes seem lower uh, than what my home is worth because I did renos, I've done work on the house. What do you think I should do? First of all, I like to give a bit of a preamble or explain property taxes. So, property taxes is based on what city part of Victoria you live in. So, are you in City of Victoria? Are you in City of Saanich? Are you in City of Central Saanich? Are you in the City of Langford? City of Oak Bay. City of Oak Bay tends to have high property taxes. Every city, City of Victoria too, every city has a budget, and based on that budget, they split it all up and they say, okay, if your home is worth this much, this portion you should be contributing towards these property taxes. Essentially, at a high level, this is what it is. There's probably more details to it, but for our purposes, let's say that's how property taxes work. So you have these property taxes that come in, and you're like, or even when you're buying, you're like, whoa, why is the property tax value? And what taxes you pay per year is based on what your property is assessed at, or what the value of your property is. Okay? So the higher your assessment, the higher the taxes you pay. What a lot of people do, and this is the question that I got, was, Shireen, help me dispute my taxes so I can raise the value. If I help you raise the value of your home for property taxes purposes, be aware this will increase the value of taxes you have to pay as well. Okay? And it also affects gains or capital, like gains when you come to dispose of an asset. There's a lot of other tax consequences with disputing your property taxes. Most people, like the other day, I was looking at this island that was listed for sale. This is an interesting story. There's this island that was listed for sale, and online, everywhere it says the island was listed for 50 million. When I went to pull the records, the tax records, and also on the tax records, property tax records, you can see the last 3 sales. When I went to the property tax records of this island and I looked at the last 3 sales, and again, when you sell, that would affect your property taxes, the value that's there on the last 3 sales, because then the appraisers come in and say, oh, the last sale on this property is this much. Before that, we had it appraised so low, it's worth this much based on the sale. They bump up the value, you pay more taxes when you buy. Okay? But backtracking, I was looking at this island, and the island everywhere online is being advertised as $50 million for sale, but when I pull the tax record, it's only assessed at $2 million. Why is that? Well, because when the island was bought, the island is in a company name. So whoever just buys this island just transfer the shares of the company to avoid paying large amounts of property transfer tax on a $50 million asset. And I did a video about property transfer tax. So, but just to preamble, okay. So anytime you buy a property in BC and the name registered on title, the legal paper for the property, the property transfer tax kicks in. Okay? If you just keep the company name there, right, and someone else just takes over the company, there's no transferring happening, so you don't have to pay the property transfer tax. So that's a little workaround there, having it already in a company. Property transfer tax does not kick in. The other thing is, and you got to be careful, even though you're a foreigner, my understanding is that you take over a company name property, you still have to pay the foreign buyer tax if it's applicable. So be careful of these catches. But Our topic today was property taxes and property assessed value. So when you come to me and say, Shereen, I've lived in this house for 5 years and I think it's worth this much. I want to dispute the value and increase it. Bear in mind, you increase the value, right? You're going to pay more taxes on it. Now, having said that though, when someone comes to buy the property and they put an offer in at what the market value is, when they come the following year, BC assessment will most likely say, hey, you paid, I don't know, it was assessed, it was on paper when you bought it 500,000, but you paid 900,000 for it. The year after, they're like, hey, we saw you paid 900 for it. So based on that value, your taxes are going to increase because it's not worth this much. Not exactly like that, but to that effect, that's what a potential fee could kick in from BC Assessment, which is the entity, the Crown Corporation, that does property taxes and assesses property values throughout British Columbia. So that's to answer that question, guys. If you have any other questions, by the way, there's no such thing as a wrong question or a silly question. Please feel free to ask away, and if I can help, I will definitely do so. I really like the property assessment one because that's a good one. I've had a lot of situations where I've showed someone a house and they're like, oh, they're asking for $1 million, but it's only assessed at 700. Honestly, though, the assessed value can be off. It's all based on demand and supply. And right now, guys, I can't keep telling you guys enough. There's not enough supply and there's a lot of demand. So there's this townhouse project that I love in Royal Oak. And I sold it to a few, but some others I was like, this is a good buy, this is a good buy, this is a good buy. And they were like, oh, it's sitting on the fence. Well, in the last 2 weeks, what happened? The last 2 units that were left, 15 offers came in and they accepted, obviously, the best of the 15 for the 2 remaining. And I thought there was so much value there. There will reach a point, the condo market stabilized. There will reach a point where even for the housing market, although supply may be limited, the demand will hold off and say, to us, this is not worth it anymore. And the demand will pull back. So the supply, although we may look at it as, limited, the buyers will be like, I'm just not willing to, even though I know there's nothing else, I'm just not willing to pay that much for this type of home. So we will reach that point, but I do feel there is still room to grow. And this spring, in my opinion, again, no one has a crystal ball, no one knows, we'll hit another all-time high in house on land, not in townhouses, not in condos, and then it's going to hold. Probably townhouses may do well too, because those who can't get into the houses are going to go for the townhouses, and those who can't get into the condos, who don't want to be in a condo but a house, will go for the townhouses. So we'll see how it all goes, my lovely friends, and always here to help. Wishing you all the best. Happy 2021. And ask me those questions. info@bchomegroup.ca. Always happy to help you all. Take care and cheers to that. Bye now.